Hey y'all, welcome to the Art and Science of Complex Sales. This is an Elevation Alert, brought to you by Membrane. These special short episodes connect you with the groundbreakers in sales and revenue thought leadership, research, and enablement, helping us all elevate our game and shine brighter together in the world of sales. Let's get rolling. Hey everybody, Paul Fuller here. Buckle up. Today we're talking with Steve Heroux. He's a disruptor in the world of sales and the author of The Sales Contrarian. This conversation, as my kids say, it's fire. So we're unpacking why sales needs a total mindset shift, why leadership is at the root of most sales dysfunction, and why it's high time to stop selling like it's 1975. So if you've ever felt like you don't fit the traditional sales model, this one's for you. Let's get started with Steve. Hey, Steve, how you doing, man? It's good to see you.
You too, man. Long time no see.
Well, it's not for lack of trying. You've been a busy person this past year, and in no small part because of this book you just released.
Yeah, it's been nuts, man. And to like add that all into moving, back to San Diego, where I just came back yesterday, and where my, amazing happy place is. I wish you could see. I'm quite lucky to have found this spot, but it's overlooks the city, Balboa Park over here, ocean over here. So add that all into, right, the speaking, craziness and the book launch. It's been quite the whirlwind few weeks here.
Well, thanks for making time for this, because this is, I got really excited, and mainly I got really excited about this book. I mean, we've talked about it. You told me last time we talked that you're releasing one, but then I noticed the reaction that people are having to this on LinkedIn. And so let's talk about The Sales Contrarian. Let's talk about the release of the book. And number one, why The Sales Contrarian?
Having gone through the process of titling over the past maybe 2 years, trying to come up with something that really embodies me as a person and a brand and, the message that I want people to be inspired by is pretty much the polar opposite of everything they've ever been taught in sales. And so I couldn't think of a better title than that. So that's the impetus behind it.
So what is that message you want people to be inspired by?
And let me rephrase too, because it's more what was interesting about the book launch. And I'm very lucky and surprised and humbled and all those things, how it went insane and Amazon bestseller and like every hot new release category. But the first couple were leadership, which it's sort of half a book about leadership and half a book about sales. So it's an audience for sales leaders. It's an audience for sales people. And so seeing that was a pleasant surprise, because so much of why salespeople don't perform has to do with their leaders. And this came up yesterday in a couple of talks up in Orange County. And, if your dog's running amok and biting people and crapping, it's not the dog's fault. Just, that's what people think. I get some very interesting reactions from audiences, when we bring up Daniel Pink's study that he cites in To Sell is Human. And that's another interesting, I wanted to put that in the book. So if you haven't seen it or read the book, he cites a study where they ask people, what's the first word that comes to mind when you hear sales or selling, right? And it's god awful. It's atrocious, right? Pushy, obnoxious, rude, arrogant, all these things. And we as salespeople share an esteemed distinction of being one of the least trusted professions on the planet, along with lawyers and politicians, right? I mean, what a crew. So I show this word cloud and I put it in the book, and my publisher goes, you can't use this. This is copyrighted. I go, yeah, but I found it on Google. They go, yeah, that's not how it works. So they go, you have to get Daniel Pink's permission, to put this in the book. I'm like, how the hell am I going to find Daniel Pink and get his permission? And they go, you're in sales. You'll figure it out. I'm like, that's a great answer. Now, I did figure it out. So I do have an email from Daniel Pink. It says, hey, Steve, thanks so much for reaching out. I appreciate you doing this site, this page on this, so on. And by the way, love the name of your book. So that's a pretty cool part of even this whole process. But I show this word cloud to leaders, and then they see it and they're like, wow, that's bad. And then I ask them, who caused this? And most of the time they say the salespeople. No, you caused it. because when you tell salespeople, just sell to anyone with a pulse who has some type of currency we can extract, that's what you get. And to see leaders' faces like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Salespeople will sell to anybody because that's how they're paid and that's what they're taught. And they don't see the ramifications of what they've done because they get paid to sell, not to the right people, not to the ideal customer, not to people who want it, not to people who can afford it. They're just told sell to anyone who comes within 3 square feet of you. And that's why the perception of salespeople is in the tank. And it will never change because leaders are forcing their salespeople to do this crap by assigning some idiotic, arbitrary quota they made up in the boardroom that means absolutely nothing to anyone. And they think that works. I mean, McFly, like anybody home, I mean, it's almost like I'm in the bizarro world, right? I'm like, what part of your brain makes you think this works? It's just crazy. That's again the message I'm trying to get through to leaders. Like, stop abusing your salespeople. They're not a means to raising your EBITDA. They're not a line item on a P&L. And if you treat them like that, what part of your brain thinks they're going to overperform? So these are the messages I want to get out there and give, and every time I talk. And so hopefully someone gets it.
Amen. Well, it's one of the reasons why I love having you on here, because it's elevating the sales profession is the gig. It's the goal. It's the dream, right? So you're motivated to write the book. You're out there speaking. What is the overall reaction? Like, so you said the leader's eyes get big, but once they grasp that, what's the behavior change? How are you seeing that actually making an impact?
I mean, it's so hard to answer because it's so new. Seeing reactions from people getting messages, emails, LinkedIn's, whatever, Instagrams, stuff like that from complete strangers. The overwhelming theme is, where have you been all my life? Like, they felt like, am I the only one who doesn't try to rob prospects? Am I the only one who has integrity? Am I the only one who turns down business because it's not in our ICP? Like, am I the only salesperson who says no? And when they see that there is somebody else out there like them, it really gives them, joy and corroboration that they don't have to be the slimy scumbag wearing, fake dog tags or creepy uncle or, let's pretend to stutter on the phone. Yeah, this is Jason. Like, what? This garbage that salespeople are continuing to be taught is making it worse for everybody. So if we can just stop this insanity, one leader or one company at a time, I mean, that's the whole reason I do what I do.
I have a really good friend, and he told me a story. Well, I have a couple of really good friends. This particular really good friend told me this story about when he first started out in sales. He was taught this tactic where the night before he was take a sticky note and to write all the names and phone numbers of the people that he wanted to call the next day. And then the next day he would come in and his message, because technically it was the truth, was, hey, Mr. Cold Call, your name and phone number just appeared on my desk yesterday. So I know I know I have to be calling you to connect. I mean, how much do you still see that out there? Because it's there, but it's just
every
different.
Single day.
Yeah.
I get LinkedIn messages, as you do, and the audience probably does too, where it says, my manager was looking, it just happened to come across your profile and thought, okay, the fake :RE, right, in the email when it's a first email. I mean, to have that little integrity to just lie from the first second you approach someone and you wonder why people hate salespeople, it's just insane. But these same tactics, and another piece of the book is one size fits none. In any other aspect of life, this would never be applied. You don't go to the store and all the suits are the same size. You don't go to get shoes and all the heels are the same size. It's a size for women. No restaurant just serves one meal. Golf, right? There's not one magic set of clubs. There's thousands of variations because they have to be fitted. That's sales training. But that has not been done for a decade upon decade. There are sales training tactics, magic sales methodologies that predate the moon landing. What are we doing? And it just boggles my mind that this is not only taught, but companies pay to have their salespeople trained with this garbage, and they can't seem to figure out why the salespeople aren't doing well. It's just mind blowing. I taught this yesterday. This is off the topic, but I was with my buddy who happened to be one of the original American Gladiators yesterday, Malibu. But
all right,
I was telling him this story, and people always want the tricks and the techniques. How do you do, right? So I met this kid, Mike, in Dallas. He's a veteran, which I'm also building something called a Million Veteran Mission, where I'm going to teach 1 million vets how to sell for free.
Let's go.
I met him. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm so excited. I already have some great connections, but I met this guy at an event and I told him that. And he's like, we were just having a couple of drinks. He's like, can you teach me something? Right, because he runs a consulting company to help vets, right, with ADD and PTSD and stuff, business owners. I'm like, oh, you want me to coach you? We're at a bar, man. He goes, no, come on, man. You got to teach me something. I'm like, okay, what do you want to know? Goes, how do you handle objections? And, every fake guru and sales guru and all this stuff, they all have their magic. You got to do the field felt founder. You got to isolate the objection, all this shit. I said, okay, Mike, I'll teach it to you. And it's only 2 letters. And he goes, what do you mean? I say, well, give me an objection. You're too expensive. Okay, give me another one. Man, you know what? I can't do it now. Can you call me back in the spring? Okay. Man, you know what? I got to talk to my wife because, this is a big decision for us. And okay. He was floored. He goes, that's all you do. I go, that's all I do. So the next day, I get a LinkedIn message from him, and he goes, bro, I cannot believe this. I tried this morning when the guy said I was too expensive. And I said, okay. And I didn't say anything. And he goes, he solved his own objection. And he said, well, I mean, you're really good though, right? He's like, yeah. He goes, let's do it. And this is like a 7K program, or this is not $25. His whole mind was like, what the hell have I been doing? What have I been doing? Because the old way would have been, well, is it more expensive to not get the knowledge you need? This condescending garbage. And it just drives me insane. So what I try to do is again, undo 95%, right, of what people have been taught in sales and what these leaders are doing to their salespeople. So that's, again, permeates through the book.
Well, I love it. And it ties so directly what's near and dear to my heart, and it's just not about me, this is about you. But I do think that sales is fundamentally about like leadership, service, and wayfinding. And if you can do those, you need to dive in with people. And so tactics, while like, when you just start using these continual tactics of persuasion, while they may work for a little bit or a certain percentage, they are not going to work to build you as a leader, a servant, or a wayfinder. And they end up being hollow and empty at the end. Like they're helpful for a while, but then there's always the next greatest and the next greatest and the next greatest.
I just thought of something for the very first time. And I teach a lot of stuff related to sports, but you just made me think about something. The Super Bowl, just happened as we're doing this recording, right? A couple days ago. You don't need to know football for this, but let's say the coach calls in a play and it's a running play. Let's just say it's a running play. And the defense knows it's a running play. So they put 8 guys up near the line of scrimmage. All you football fans know that's in the box, right? They get 8 guys. Well, the offense only has 5 guys to block 8 guys. So that's probably not going to work. Should they still run the ball? This is what magic sales methodology crap does. You just do it. No, things change. Situations change. You have to call audibles. You can't just run the play as it's designed because you get stopped and you lose yards. But that's not what's taught, right? What's taught is, nope, he says this and I say that. And when she says this, then I say that because I remember, here's the upfront contract. Like what? It's crazy. And these people think they're going to win Super Bowls. Well, you ain't.
Well, the Sales Contrarian. Steve, where do people find it? Because they got to read it. It's it's already blowing up, but I would highly recommend because
Amazon's best. So paperback, Kindle, Audible. It's also unique. One of my clients just sent me a screenshot of him. He goes, now not only you live in my dreams, but now you're in my car all day. So he shows the thing. And the picture.
Did you read it?
Screen. Yeah, he goes, this is even better, right, than the book because it's your voice and I can hear, you coming through the mic.
That's cool.
As a publisher wanted a narrator, and I'm like, what are you crazy? I'm doing it. I'm going to have a narrator tell my stories about my parents, like being the Costanzas and all that stuff. So if you prefer Audible, a lot of people like Audible, so it's on there too.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. Thanks, and I know you are all over the place right now speaking and talking about this. Thanks for the impact you're making on the world of sales. It's huge. If people want to connect with you, to book you in terms of speaking and any of those things, is there a way to do that?
LinkedIn's easy. And then the salescontrarian.com, another place you can find some stuff. I'm putting a bunch of new things on there. Coming up, starting a newsletter, a YouTube channel, all this kind of stuff is coming. So I'm pretty excited. But the salescontrarian.com is another place.
That's awesome. Hey, congrats. And thanks for the great work. This is awesome stuff.
Thanks, man. Thanks everybody for listening.
All right, everybody. With that, we're going to sign off with Steve. Have an amazing day. Keep shining bright and get out there and sell. Lead, serve, wayfind, make it happen. Thank you so much, Steve. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, man. Talk soon.
Hey, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Art and Science of Complex Sales. I hope today's conversation provided you with valuable insights and practical ideas to help you and your team elevate the profession and succeed in today's complex world. This podcast is brought to you by Membrane.com. Membrane is the B2B growth platform for CEOs, sales leaders, and sales executives who are committed to sustainable growth and change. If you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor, subscribe, share it with your network. Your support really helps us bring more valuable insights from the best in the business straight to you. Also, check us out at Membrane.com. We're more than a technology. Membrane equips your teams with the expert coaches and trainers, amazing sales methodologies, process, people, and tools to continually improve and coach results. More than a CRM. It's a network, and it's designed to help your team execute with confidence, smash goals, and overall up your sales game. So we'll see you next time for another episode of The Art and Science of Complex Sales. And until then, as always, keep shining bright.